unlikely as the survival of birds of that size. The trouble with the Thunderbird as a mythical animal or a real animal is that, unlike the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot, which has got plenty of good places to hide, a bird of that size really ought to be reported far more often than it actually is. The Thunderbird is a very scarcely reported creature. There's half a dozen cases maybe in the last 20 years. If there was a breeding population of birds of that size around, particularly in North America, there would simply have to be more sightings, more evidence we've actually got, I think.
Why do you think, Chief, that more people haven't seen one?
Well, it's part of our Native American culture is that this bird appeared before there was going to be bad things. Along the bank of the mighty Mississippi River, not far from here, there's a pictograph 30 feet high of one of these birds. Now, when the people at the University of Illinois looked at that footage and everything, they thought about breeding pairs and how many it would take for it to come on down. But in the Indian mythology, you're talking about a spirit bird, and that eliminates this need for these breeding pairs and things like that. And that's why it was important that the Indians put out a watchman to look for these things to come.
Well, Mike, that bird that we're looking at certainly seems different, whether we can gauge the actual wingspan off it or not. I mean, surely experts would come forward and say we can identify that. It's quite eagle-like, but would it be physically possible for a bird with a wingspan the length of a Volkswagen Beetle to fly?
Well, as we saw earlier on, it has existed in the past. I mean, 8 million years ago, birds at 24-foot wingspans did fly. Today, I mean, one of the problems you've got, for example, with the Thunderbird is claims that it's been abducting children, lifting them off the ground. I mean, a lot of ornithologists doubt that a bird the size of the eagle, or even a condor, which is another possible explanation for these sightings, could do that. But, you know, there have been a number of fairly convincing cases, some from Switzerland in the last century as well, of very large birds lifting small children. And so this is, you know, something which is still waiting to be resolved. I think that it's possible that particularly large specimens, particularly small children, you could get a child a few inches off the ground. And really that's all you need to happen, because an experience that terrifying, of course, you know, will stick in people's mind and they might exaggerate.
Okay, Mike, thank you for your opinion. But basically, Chief, at the end of the day, you know what you saw, you know what you filmed. Let me ask you, were you frightened?
Well, no, I was a United States Marine Corps combat photographer. And I was used to seeing a lot of things. And, of course, we were out looking for this. There was a $500 reward to bring in the big bird, either dead or alive, and then the Department of Conservation of Illinois stopped anybody from bringing it in dead. So I was really interested to take a camera like I had in the Marine Corps and to film this. So we were looking. But when you were underneath that bird aiming, you could look up at its big, leathery-like neck and its head and see all the cracks in it. It looked ancient of ancient.
Sounds spooky enough to me, Chief. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us live from Illinois today. Thank you.
It's 8:15 now. Now, if you're a parent, I wonder if you know that the legal age for buying fireworks went up to 18 last week.